The tongue, on the other hand, I use to play both left side and right side. This enables you to play switch corners. In other words, you can play one note out of one side and switch to a without moving. And it's possible to use it in runs. You'll hear. Now what I'm doing is switching over. When I play that run, there are corner switches all over the place. And if you watch, just let's say in a Bach piece, this is a corner switch, where the motion is on my mouth, there's no motion. If you played that in one side of your mouth, that would look, you would break your teeth out trying to do that. But here it is without anything. So you also get the motion of that moving because you can hold a note. You can and not have to move, so you aren't committing one way or the other to jumping back and forth where you can't stay on the note. If you have to jump, it's just like jumping on your feet. You start to jump in one direction, you can't stay there to jump back because you're only using one side of your mouth. So I play out of both sides of my mouth, and it's not only just a single note. You can play, like in the Villa Lobos, you play two notes out of one side. And then two notes out of the other side. It's also possible to play, of course, octaves. This means that you are blocking a specific area. And it's just wherever you block, you get the octave, all right? But it's possible to play octaves and put a third with the octave. In other words, I'm putting two notes on one side and one note on the other side. They actually split on the chromatic between B flat and E. So B flat down to E, it's all on the right hand side. In other words, you have the third up on the octave, and E down to B flat, they're on the left. You'll hear. So you can hear them changing, but you're still getting chromatics with thirds all the time. Sometimes I would play two notes out of one side and one note out of the other side. In the Vaughan Williams I'm using now, I'm playing in a position that would be a sixth on this harmonica, two notes on one side, and playing, covering only one hole with the tongue and playing the left. And this enables you to play, let's say, A on one side and D and F on the other. And you can get the minor chord. Of course, you use it to switch corners. Chordal playing, a lot of it is switch corner. So you get arpeggios without moving. Using the switches. And generally what it is the lowest note ends up being on the left. Also, it enables you to play runs that end up in leaps. If you have one run that's going down this way, it's hard to leap back and then go back. You know, so if I played an E flat scale and I had to play an arpeggio, moving would be hard because I'm going down, now I've got to jump back, then I got to jump back. If you put an octave on that, it would be almost impossible, but with switch corner, now you see that the octaves are done. So the switch corner thing goes, you can even hold a note. If you're holding a D, and move the other side. So you have the switch between two holes over one. Octaves can be. And the other way, played, you know, in scales, in your scales, going body, body, like you would in a piano. The other thing you do is you switch over corners, which is to start on the left side. And if I had to play DG up the harmonica, it would go left, right, left, right, left, right. Now you're just switching as you go, because otherwise you'd have to jump with one side the whole way up. I also do, in the tongue position, I tongue out of both sides of my mouth. So I can switch corners, but I also can tongue out of one side. Over here, you can tongue out of both sides of your mouth. This enables you to play complicated passages where you have to switch corners and end up with tonguing. So I'm tonguing out of the corner of my mouth. It's with the tongue on the instrument. It's like spitting a little piece of tobacco off. So you can use the tongue, you even do them together. You can tongue. Mm-hmm. And I use this all the time. You know. You know, so you're seeing one side, and then this one goes left, and back to right, back to left. So you are making it possible to do complicated licks by switching corners. I also use U-block every once in a while. U-block, you can play left, center, right. So you're playing the U in the center, and I use it for Stevie Wonder type vibrato, which is a bend. In other words, you are basically bending the note, yeah, 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 like. You know, so Stevie does a lot of that, that sound, and you can play that also in whistle, but it definitely is a puckered or U-block sound. There's no question about it. And Toots plays totally in whistle position, because he was surprised as heck when I would go there and he said, "You're switching chords, you're switching back and forth," you know, and yeah, I mean, so. There is no particular way that you can play the harmonica, in other words, with tongue and doing tonguing stuff that you shouldn't learn. You should learn how to play pucker. You should learn how to play tongue block out of both sides. If you like to do middle center, you might be able to get away without U-block, but. Because pucker does give you the ability to have your tongue free. That's the good thing that's nice about it, you know. So you can use it to say whatever you want, any kind of triple tonguing stuff, you know.